Have you ever felt the gut-wrenching pain of being rejected by someone you've loved, nurtured, and sacrificed for? Your child, perhaps? It's a pain that cuts deeper than words can describe. After all the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, and the endless support, you find yourself cast aside, forgotten, and abandoned. It may feel like the end, but what if I told you that this rejection, this moment of heartache, holds the key to something far greater than you can imagine? In this video, we're going to uncover the powerful truth about rejection that could change your entire perspective. By the end, you'll understand how this painful experience could be your greatest gift. An opportunity to rediscover your strength, reclaim your peace, and rise above the wounds that have been holding you back. What if you could finally let go of the need for validation and find freedom in standing alone? What if the absence of someone who once meant everything to you could become the space where you grow stronger, more resilient, and even more fulfilled? This video will show you how to transform pain into power and loss into liberation. So stick with me until the end, because this is not just about enduring rejection. It's about understanding its deeper lessons and how it can reshape your life in a way you've never imagined. You deserve to live a life that's not dependent on anyone else's approval. Let's dive into the profound truth of why you are enough, exactly as you are. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. The silence that lingers around you is more than just an absence. It's a deafening void, one that echoes in your chest and suffocates your spirit. The emptiness feels like a haunting presence, a cold reminder of what once was and now no longer is. The pain. It's unbearable, a wound too deep for words to even graze. It claws at your heart, leaving scars that never seem to heal. You find yourself caught in a loop, endlessly replaying every moment, every smile, every touch you shared. The laughter that once filled the air, the late nights when you sat by their side, holding their hand while they were sick, those memories are both a blessing and a curse. They make your heart ache. They make you yearn for something that feels lost forever. The sacrifices you made without a second thought, the love you gave without condition. And yet, here you stand, staring at a closed door, left in the dark. You wonder, what went wrong? What could you have done differently? Was there something in your actions, in your love, that wasn't enough? And the hardest question of all, why does the person you gave your all to, the one who once meant everything, no longer have space for you in their life? It's a crushing moment, one that can either tear you apart or forge you into something stronger. And here's where we must pause. Right here, in this space of overwhelming rejection, lies the most profound opportunity for growth. We must confront it head-on, because in this very moment, when everything feels lost, there is an invitation to transform. Rejection, though painful beyond measure, is not your enemy. It's not something to be feared or to shy away from. Rejection is your teacher. It is the chisel that carves away the unnecessary, that strips away the parts of you that no longer serve you, leaving only the most authentic version of yourself. It is the storm that shakes you to your core, but in doing so, it roots you deeper, teaching you the strength of standing firm in the face of chaos. It's the fire that burns away the superficial, the things that weigh you down, leaving you purified, forged in a heat you didn't know you could withstand. Life, my friends, was never promised to be easy, and it was certainly never promised to be fair. Yet, so often, we find ourselves longing for a world where love is always returned, where gratitude flows freely, and where bonds are never broken. But that is not the reality we live in, and if we insist on waiting for a reality that aligns with our idealized vision, we will forever remain in the grip of perpetual disappointment. The harsh truth is this: your value is not defined by who chooses to accept you, nor are you diminished by who decides to walk away. Your worth remains unwavering. Your essence remains whole, no matter how others treat you. And here is the hardest part of all, the part that will either break you or liberate you. You must understand that you are strong enough to stand alone. Yes, this is the gift hidden in the pain of rejection. It doesn't feel like a gift, not at first. At first, it feels like a betrayal, like a jagged knife twisting in your heart, a wound that refuses to close. But if you allow yourself to sit with the discomfort, to embrace the pain rather than run from it, you will begin to see it for what it truly is, a powerful invitation. An invitation to discover the strength within yourself that you never knew existed. An invitation to rise above your need for validation from others. An invitation to become a version of yourself that is not dependent on anyone's love or approval to feel worthy. If love is given only under conditions, it was never real love to begin with. And if someone can walk away from you, let them, not because you are unworthy, not because you have failed, but because their absence has made room for you to grow stronger, to stand taller, and to fill the space with your light. Think of the great figures throughout history, those who faced rejection, abandonment, and betrayal. Did they crumble beneath the weight of it all? Did they allow the cruelty of others to define their worth? No. They became legends precisely because they refused to let life's hardships break them. They were abandoned, they were misunderstood, they were cast aside. But they didn't let those rejections destroy them. They allowed them to forge a new strength. And now, this is your choice. Will you let this heartache consume you, or will you let it shape you into something unshakable? But here's where it becomes even more profound. Rejection isn't just about how much you can endure. It's about understanding what is within your control and what is not. How often have you exhausted yourself trying to change something that is entirely outside of your power? How many nights have you spent wide awake, replaying every word, every moment, every gesture, searching desperately for the moment when things went wrong? The truth you must come to terms with is this. You do not control how others choose to love you, how they value you, or whether they choose to stay by your side. What you do control is your response, how you rebuild from this pain, and how you rise, stronger and more resolute than before. The Stoics had a principle, one that seems simple yet carries profound power, a truth that, if fully understood, will change your life forever. Focus only on what is within your control, and let go of the rest. Stop wasting your energy trying to change things that can never be changed, and instead focus on what you can transform. The way you see yourself, the way you respond to life's challenges, and the way you grow from them. Because when you waste energy on things that are beyond your control, you rob yourself of the incredible power you have to change the things that truly matter. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Yes, you are in pain. Yes, you have been hurt deeply and profoundly. Yes, the absence of your child might feel like a gaping hole in your chest, an ache that pulls at your very soul, leaving you questioning everything you thought you knew about love, about life. But please, hear me when I say this. You are still here. You are still breathing. You are still capable of joy, of love, of meaning, if and only if you allow yourself to open up to it. You are not defined by the absence or the rejection, but by your ability to rise from it. Pain is a teacher, not a prison. It does not have to trap you in a cycle of despair. It can, if you choose, be the guiding force that leads you to deeper understanding and inner peace. And in rejection, there is something far more extraordinary than you may realize. There is a chance, a rare and precious gift, waiting for you. The opportunity to finally, truly understand that your peace, your happiness, your very essence do not belong in the hands of anyone else. Not your child, not anyone. Your worth is not determined by the presence or approval of others. There comes a point in life, a moment that feels like the weight of the world pressing on your chest, when you must ask yourself one of the hardest questions you will ever face. Who are you when the roles you have played for so long no longer define you? 4 years, perhaps decades, you have been a provider, a guide, a protector. You have been the pillar, the one others turn to for strength, for advice, for love. You shaped a life, nurtured a soul, and gave everything you had to a future that was never truly yours. You gave not because you had to, but because love called to you, and you answered unconditionally. But now, when the time comes to receive, when the fruits of that labor should be yours to savor, you find yourself standing alone. Not because you did something wrong, not because you failed in any way, but because life, in its infinite wisdom, has a way of shifting and changing in ways we never saw coming, in ways we were never prepared for. And here you are, alone, staring into the silence left behind by a child who no longer walks beside you. You could fill that silence with regret, with bitterness, with a swirling storm of why, how, and what if. You could let the what-ifs consume you, let the weight of unanswered questions drag you down into the abyss. You could let the silence be your enemy, your reminder of what you've lost. But what if I told you that this silence is not emptiness? What if I told you that, within this silence, there is an answer, a deeper, truer answer, far greater than the one you thought you were seeking? Because there is a certain kind of liberation that comes with being stripped of every expectation, every role, every label that once defined you. It forces you to see yourself, not just as a parent, not just as a caregiver, not just as someone who once belonged to a family that no longer looks the same. It forces you to see yourself for the very first time as something more, something greater. In this silence, you are forced to confront the truth. Your existence does not hinge on the presence, nor the approval of another, even your child. And I know what you're thinking. How do I move forward when the foundation of my life has been shaken to its core? How do I find meaning in a life that now feels hollow, like it has lost its purpose? The answer is simpler than you might think. You begin by embracing a fundamental truth. The purpose of your life was never, ever meant to be confined to the love, the presence, or the validation of a single person. No matter how close, no matter how important they are to you. Think about it. If your entire sense of worth, your very being, was built upon the recognition of someone else, then what happens when they withdraw it? What happens when they no longer see you, no longer need you in the same way? Does that mean you suddenly become less valuable, less worthy, less complete? Not. What it means is that you were looking for your reflection in a place it was never meant to be, outside of yourself, in someone else's gaze. You are not just a parent. You are not just someone who gave, sacrificed, and loved with every fiber of your being. You are a soul, a force of nature, an individual with a depth and beauty that stretches far beyond the confines of any relationship. And if someone, even your child, cannot see that, it is not your responsibility to force them to. You do not have to convince anyone of your worth. Your worth is inherent, unshakable, and exists independently of anyone's approval. The truth is painful, yes, but it is also profoundly freeing. The day you stop seeking validation from others is the day you truly begin to live for yourself, to embrace your full, unfiltered, magnificent self. And that, my dear, is where the real journey begins. Here's something most people won't tell you. Seeking validation from those who refuse to give it to you is one of the quickest ways to lose sight of who you truly are. It's a trap, one that slowly erodes your sense of self, leaving you hollow. But the truth is this: life, the real, meaningful life, is all about rediscovering who you are. Not through others' eyes, not through their approval or their love, but through something much greater, much deeper, something unshakable. And the first step to reclaiming that deep, unshakable truth? Letting go. I'm not talking about forgetting. Don't get me wrong. Letting go doesn't mean you stop loving or stop caring, or that you stop hoping for the best. But it does mean you stop chasing after something that was never meant for you. You stop waiting. Stop measuring your worth by whether or not someone else acknowledges your existence. That's when the magic begins. Because, let me tell you this, when you stop looking for validation in the eyes of others, you start looking inward. And when you begin that journey within, that's when you stumble upon the real treasure. The one that's been there all along, waiting for you to finally open your heart to it. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Rejection, particularly from those we love, has a way of shaking us to our core. It makes us feel so small, so insignificant, so disposable. It can break you if you let it. It can make you feel like you're nothing more than an afterthought. But here's the truth no one tells you. That very rejection, that feeling of being pushed into a corner, that's where the freedom begins. Because when you're forced into that place of emptiness, you finally see what you've been so afraid to step into. The vast space of possibility that was always there, but that you were too afraid to embrace. Beyond the pain of rejection, beyond the loss you've endured, beyond everything you once believed defined you, there's a version of yourself waiting. It's a version that isn't shackled by other people's expectations or needs. It's a version of you that doesn't crave approval, that isn't obsessed with being seen or loved on someone else's terms. And I promise you, this version is beautiful. It's powerful, it's radiant, and it's ready to live. And here's where the blessing lies. When you truly, wholeheartedly let go, not just of the people, but of the need to make them your everything, you free yourself from the chains of pain. But more than that, you free yourself from the dangerous, destructive belief that your happiness has ever depended on someone else. Because, my dear friend, happiness is an inside job. It always has been. And once you let that sink in, your entire world shifts. When you begin to let go, when you stop trying to force someone to walk beside you, you start to see life with fresh eyes. You realize that your purpose wasn't ever about whether someone else showed up for you, whether they chose to stay.
No.
Your purpose is alive in every breath you take, in every lesson you learn, in every small joy you experience, whether or not anyone else acknowledges it. There is still so much beauty to be found, wisdom to be gained, and moments to be cherished, not in the shadow of another person's presence, but in the bright, radiant light of your own. And that's when the true transformation begins. Because when you finally learn to stand on your own 2 feet, to find joy in your own company, to create peace and fulfillment from within, you become untouchable. Not in a way that makes you cold or distant, but in a way that makes you whole. You become someone who knows, deep down in your bones, that you are enough, just as you are, without anyone else's approval. And let me tell you, that is the greatest gift rejection can ever give you. When you lose what you thought you couldn't live without, you find something even greater. The unshakable strength that comes from knowing that you alone have the power to define your worth. But here's the thing, this is only the beginning. Once you understand the power of letting go, there's something even more profound that lies ahead, rebuilding. Life has a way of stripping us down to nothing, doesn't it? It takes away what we thought we couldn't live without, those things we held so tightly, convinced they'd always be there. And when that moment comes, when you find yourself abandoned by the very person you gave your heart to, it feels like the earth has crumbled beneath your feet. But here's what I need you to understand. You are still standing. You are still here. Rejection is not your end. It is not the end of your worth, nor is it a reflection of failure. It's a test, a refining fire that strips away everything that was never really yours to begin with. It is the hard, painful awakening that forces you to stop looking outward for validation and start looking inward for the strength that has always been inside you. And when you discover that strength, that deep, unshakable strength, nothing, no one, can ever take it away. So, what have you learned so far? How has the idea of letting go, finding strength within, and reclaiming your worth resonated with you? Take a moment to reflect, and I'd love for you to share one thing that has truly impacted you, something you're ready to put into practice in your own life. Drop it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more empowering content. Together, let's continue to grow, learn, and embrace the strength within us. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.